friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name's Holly with the Nestle Valley Farmhouse, and today I'm going to bring you along with me as I do my normal morning kind of homemaking routine, and I'm going to talk about some good homemaking habits. So I've written down about 7 things that I try to do kind of in my homemaking journey, things that I have done to make things run a little smoother, or things that I just feel like are important as being, a stay-at-home mom with 5 children, and kind of making sure that I'm giving everyone attention that needs attention, and just kind of making sure that I'm working on being a successful homemaker. So the first one, basically, one thing that really helps me to stay productive, stay on task, is to have kind of daily routines for both. Daily routines for my cleaning schedule, because we're a busy family of 7. I have a lot of kids that are just normal kid messy stuff, and it is just, I need to stay on top of it. So giving myself, breaking it down into kind of like a daily, like so many things accomplished in a day, really helps me get things done, and kind of building a routine. Some people call it a flow, just some sort of way that I want my days to kind of go, to be structured. It kind of helps keep me on task. It helps me with my anxiety. It helps me with just learning how to, keep things kind of rolling and kind of staying on task. That also goes aligned with meal planning. I generally have a meal planning routine. Like for me, on Wednesdays, or on the first of the month, I always make a meal plan for that month. And then on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, I will basically write down the weekly menu, and I shop for groceries, and I kind of go in order that way. And it really seems to help me to just kind of stay on task, and keeping things moving, and making sure that I always have something to make for dinner, because that can be a little stressful sometimes. So the second thing is, I think it's a big thing. It's probably one of the bigger things. When you are a homemaker, when you are a stay-at-home mom, I think you should prioritize building in a little bit of rest or breaks, or some sort of, people call it margin, in your day. The biggest thing for that I think, as women who don't work outside the home, I think it's sometimes as hard as we feel like we have to do it all because we're home, and we have to somehow make up for the fact that we're not earning any income. And look, I get it, and it's hard sometimes, because I feel like society in general seems to almost kind of view women that stay home as not contributing. But the biggest thing that I've noticed is I need to take breaks, or I will just burn myself out, run myself into the ground. So the way I do it is I quote unquote work for basically from about after the older kids get on the bus till about 1 p.m. ish. And that has really helped me to have to stay on task and kind of go, okay, I need to get X, Y, and Z done. And then when 1 o'clock rolls around, normally after lunch, it's normally kind of quiet time. I will normally turn on the TV for the kiddos, because we don't do TV in the mornings. And then I literally will go in my bedroom, which is right off the main living room. So I can hear what's going on out there, and I will just chill on my phone. I'll watch a show, I'll read a book. I'll just do something to kind of recharge a little bit, because right when the kids get home at about 3 o'clock, then I'm back to it with homework and just spending time with my older kids, and working on dinner, of course, as that rolls around. So I feel like building in those breaks really, really help. Another good habit I feel like as a homemaker, and this is more as a stay-at-home mom, and obviously since I have kids, is to make sure that you during the day, put some focus on the kids that are home with you. I have gotten into bad habits in the past where I will just go through everything like a freight train, I call it, and just get everything done and ignore my kids that are home with me. And I think it's good. It doesn't have to be for a long time, but I think it's good to sit. I try to read a story to them. Sometimes I'll literally just sit on the floor with them and watch them play. And I feel like when they see me do these things, they really seem to help. It really seems to help my relationship with them. They feel validated, and they kind of get that special time with mommy. And sometimes when the youngest is down for her nap, I will spend a little bit of time with the oldest. So obviously I think making your kids a focus is good. And look, we've all been there. I've had, like I said, I've gotten to bad habits of no, I just got to get this thing done. And so I try to build it into my day. I do really feel like for me, kind of building in like maybe little blocks of like clean during this time, you know, here's a 15-minute break and I hang out with the kids and I clean something else, and then a 15-minute break and hang out with the kids again. I feel like that really helps me. And like I said, it helps the day to flow really well. It just helps me to feel like I am progressing towards the end of the day and things are moving in a good direction, I guess, if that makes sense. And that was my breakfast for this morning. It was very good. So number 4, another thing that I am kind of slowly working on, especially with being like also doing homesteading, and I used to homeschool, but that is one choice that we changed. Long story short, we just really felt like we were not to homeschool anymore. Like there were certain things that kind of happened and certain struggles that my kids were going through that I was just not able to do at home, and I could not afford to hire a tutor. And so we reached out to our local school district, which has been amazing. They're very transparent, and we've been able to really have a good relationship with them. And they've really helped my kids like catch up on the learning struggles that they were having. But the next one is basically to simplify things. So realistically, I think, and especially when you're in the sphere of like homesteading, homeschooling, homemaking, there is so much that you can do, and so much that you also need to get done. And sometimes it does get overwhelming. I feel like I honestly have to like reevaluate every few months sometimes to really see if what we're doing is, benefiting the family, benefiting my, just my stress level. I mean, having livestock, doing meat animals, having our chickens, it definitely it takes a toll. And so I really feel like this year I've become more intentional about like scheduling things out a little bit better, and also simplifying things. Like we used to have a big area that we're going to do this huge garden, and it was going to be amazing, but it was just way too overwhelming for me. So we've started last year, we actually swapped to raised garden beds, and I have like 6 raised garden beds, and that's all I'm planning on doing this year for my garden. And then we're actually turning in our big garden area that was just too overwhelming into basically an orchard. So I feel like simplifying things, really kind of thinking about like, what are your goals for this year? What are your goals for your family? What do you want your family to look like? And then kind of build from there. Because I really think that that's something that people, like I said, it gets overcomplicated. You can't do it all. It's okay not to do it all. Like another thing too, with like dairy animals. We do drink raw milk, but instead of having a milk cow, because it was just going to be too much commitment and too much expense for our family, we decided to get our milk from a local farm, and basically found a milk drop in our area. And that has been hugely beneficial because we're still getting the benefits of the raw milk, but we're not doing it all ourselves, which would have been way too overwhelming. So the next good habit that I think is good for homemakers is to break things down. Now, this is kind of also to help when you get overwhelmed by a lot of things. The way I kind of do my quote unquote cleaning schedule, and I know that there's other cleaning schedules out there like this, like Fly Lady's one I hear a lot about. I've actually used their app before in the past, and I just kind of got away from it, but I've kind of built my own schedule kind of off the suggestions they have. So basically today is Thursday, so you're seeing me do a lot of upstairs cleaning, because basically Thursdays are the days that I clean the whole upstairs. The way I do it is Monday, I do so many tasks. Normally it's like catching up from the weekend, because I don't do a whole lot on Sunday. So like the main living area gets cleaned up, the kitchen especially gets extra attention, kind of revamping for the week. Tuesday, I normally do my bedroom downstairs, I dust vacuum, tidy up, and then the bathrooms all get done on Tuesdays. Wednesday, I clean the main living area again, and we have a lot of like outdoor appointments on Wednesday. So I kind of leave it a little bit open, building in that margin again, so that if there's something that I did not get to before Wednesday, I can normally catch up on Wednesday. Thursday, like I said, is upstairs cleaning time. And I think I did add on Tuesdays, I actually clean the main playroom upstairs, kind of the main kid area. And I feel like that's really helped take off the pressure from having like a completely exploded, as I call it, kids playroom on Thursday to clean up. So that has been really helpful. So I feel like breaking things down really, really helps. So the next thing is kind of focusing on the mindset. Like, why do you want to be a homemaker? My goal for being a homemaker, number one, I have children at home that are too young to go to school, or I just wanted to be there for them through their formative years, be a good, what do I call it? Being a good, influence on them. And I wanted to be able to, provide value for my family by, cooking more naturally, cooking from scratch, and just focusing on being a nurturing mom. And so I really think it's good to kind of think about, like, what is your mindset? Why are you a homemaker? What is important about being a homemaker to you? And then the last thing, but not least, is I think of it as a job. So instead of working for a boss outside the home, I work for my husband. He takes good care of us. He works really hard. And so I want to be that soft place for him to land. I want to be the place that he can come home to, and it's not perfect, but he can come home to, and he doesn't feel super overwhelmed that he has to make dinner, clean up after the kids and whatever. Now, he has stepped into those roles whenever I've been sick or just struggling with newborn or pregnancy or just other things. But a lot of his contributions to the home are generally in the handyman work. He's very handy, so he helps fix things. Obviously, he built the barn, and we're going to be working on building another barn and other things like that. So I really like to think of it as kind of a job. I feel like it's probably a very important job in my opinion, but I feel like it's one of those things that a lot of people, I hate to think that people don't view it as valuable as I think it is. So I hope those tips were helpful for you. I know there's so many other good habits, but I feel like these are kind of the main ones that I tend to gravitate towards. And I feel like just kind of keeping these in mind, like, I'm not 100% perfect. You do not have to do all of them. You don't even have to do any of them. But I feel like they've really helped me to just be more intentional about my homemaking journey and focusing more on, providing value to my family in that way. And so I feel like they've been really helpful to me. So I hope that was helpful to you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye.